May is National Melanoma Awareness Month, and according to Skin Cancer Foundation, 1 in 5 people are expected to receive skin cancer at some point in their life. And we have a Connecticut company here that is hoping to change that. Co-founders of M. Mills Co. or Company, and Mandy Gavlak and Jamie Wheeler have created a line of UV detection jewelry. Ladies, welcome here to CT Style.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're both from Enfield, you said,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So it's always great to have Connecticut entrepreneurs on like this. But before we talk about the jewelry, let's talk a little bit about melanoma and what inspired the two of you to start all of this.
For me, I had 3 clients in a very short period of time that were all diagnosed with melanoma, and I, by chance, had ran across the UV detection beads, and I, at that moment, realized that we needed to do something that made women aware of what their daily UV exposure was.
Okay.
70% of the damage we receive to our skin comes from that daily exposure, not just our trip to the beach.
Right, and it's not even in the summertime, it's in the wintertime too.
Yes.
You can still receive damage, correct?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of people don't realize, for the skiers and snowboarders out there, the glare coming off the snow. I mean, you can have bright, sunny, wintry days and still get the UV exposure that's going to start to accumulate over time.
How about when it comes to sunscreen? Do you guys have any tips for what types of sunscreen to wear, or do we wear them every day? I know a lot of facial moisturizers have SPF 15 in them.
So the American Academy of Dermatology recommends 15 or higher every single day. We like 30 or higher. I like to use a combo of a chemical sunscreen, so an avobenzone or oxybenzone, with something like a titanium dioxide and mineral sunscreen. Each of them protect the skin a little differently. So for most women, if they're using something like an avobenzone plus a mineral makeup, they're actually getting that double
whammy.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, do you ever get to a certain level where it's still the same level of protection? Because there's so many SPFs, sometimes I get confused. How high up the ring should we go?
Basically 30.
30?
If
So you don't need
you're
to
at
go
30,
over.
you're doing pretty good.
And how often should we apply?
Depending on if you're outside, if you're sweating, swimming, perspiring, they recommend every 2 hours. But if you've swam, if you've been perspiring heavily, it should be more often than that.
Okay.
And you know, they make UV protective clothing now, scarves, hats, your sunglasses, of course.
And now we have the bracelets, of course, which are very fashion forward. It's very neat for the ladies out there. Tell us about the actual technology and how it's helping the women out there.
Sure. So like Mandy said, she was online one day and she came across the UV detection bead, which is actually this one right in the center here, if they can see. On our other bracelets, they have a little dangle charm that has that UV bead in it. So what that does is, as you step outside, that bead is going to change either blue or purple, depending on which one we chose, to give you that indication that you are being exposed to the UV light. So it's just really a reminder that if you did not apply your sunscreen, that you need to, and or get indoors, you know, whatever works best for you.
And I think it's neat, number one, you guys are a local company and you're doing good work here, but it's also very fashionable. Tell us about the different styles that you have here.
So one of our favorite styles actually was made for the Melanoma Foundation of New England after Megan Rothschild, who was diagnosed at 20 with skin cancer. Her favorite color was hot pink, so we wanted to kind of give her something that was special to her. For us, this was actually designed by one of our 15-year-old clients, or inspired by, I should say. So we just wanted something that would be fun to wear, something that you would put on because you liked it, not just because it told you about your UV exposure, and just have that little reminder. So if you're under an umbrella, maybe you think you're protected. We hear a lot of people say, but I was under an umbrella, I had sunscreen on, I still got a sunburn. The reality is, a lot of times people go swimming, they sit under an umbrella, they think they're protected. You know, we've known this a few times now where we watch that bead change when you really do think you're in the shade.
Really?
Absolutely.
Well, it's great that people can now detect it because, as you said, sometimes you're not sure or you think you're in the shade, but you're really not, so that's great. And you also have the necklaces, which are very neat, and you have a possible men's line coming up?
Yes, we definitely will be doing it. We're very honored to honor a man who actually, unfortunately, lost his battle to melanoma, and for his family. And melanoma actually is one of the top 3 killers of men. And so it rates in the top 3 highest mortality rates. And so we don't think about that.
What should people do if they think that they might have melanoma or something?
You know, if you have a spot that changes color, if it changes shape, if it starts to itch, you know, if you've had a lot of UV exposure, even if you don't think you have a spot, get your skin checked. And whatever your dermatologist recommends, repeat that skin check, whether they say a year or 2 or 3. And if something doesn't feel right, get it checked. When Megan was diagnosed, she had a spot that she said It made her uncomfortable. The dermatologist did not think it was melanoma. Had she not pushed for the biopsy, her story would have ended much differently.
Right. Well, it's great that she got it checked, and it's all about that early detection. And with your bracelets, I think it's great work. So, ladies, thank you again
you.
for
Thank
joining
you.
us here today on CT Style. Again, for more information, check out mmillsco.com, or you can visit Face It in West Hartford. You guys have some available at the shop there. Coming up next.